Afghanistan, land of extremes, ravaged by war, and one of the most dangerous countries in the world. So you might wonder why I'm here. I came all the way from Australia for love. She was an aid worker in Kabul, and I was planning to propose. But it didn't work out as planned. I was broke, broken-hearted, and stuck in a war zone. But crazy things happen in Afghanistan. So when these TV guys called and asked me if I wanted to do a travel show about the country, I was ready to listen. They wanted me to find Afghan stories that had never been told. And me? I jumped at the chance. And that's how I became the extreme tourist. I'm on a hunt for the most wanted man in the world. Osama bin Laden. It's a challenge that will involve going out on the front line with the American military. Facing down Al-Qaeda. Going on a date with an ex-warlord. Racing an amputee. And trekking to one of the most dangerous mountains in the world. But it's a quest that starts in the capital city of Afghanistan, Kabul. I want to go to this place called Tora Bora. It's these mountains in the east of the country, and they're most famous for being the last known address of Osama bin Laden. This is where he made his great escape. This is where the Americans nearly captured him, but he slipped into the mountains of Pakistan and Afghanistan. The problem is getting there is really dangerous at the moment because the Taliban is regrouping in the area. But I've heard about this tour company in Kabul that deals in adventure tourism. So I've come back to the capital to see if maybe they can help me get to Tora Bora. Thanks for meeting me at such short notice.
Yeah, so this is our offices. What we're doing is we're just trying to get people safely to some of these amazing places that are out here, these historic places or these places of natural beauty.
This is Andre Mann. He runs an adventure travel company in Kabul.
Afghanistan has not really been accessible to your tourist for the last 30 years.
Right.
And finally, you have the ability to start bringing people into certain parts of the country. And some people, they want to see this place. And there is no place like Afghanistan. This is a unique country.
Tourism actually boomed in Afghanistan during the mid-noughties, thanks to people like Andre and his company. But due to worsening security, he's now advising customers not to come until further notice. I tell him about my plans to travel to Jalalabad, the city closest to Tora Bora.
We don't go down that route.
You don't go because it's too dangerous or because?
Yeah, because there's too much risk.
I want to go to Tora Bora.
I can't take you there.
You can't take me there?
No.
But I thought this would be exactly the kind of place that you would go to.
No.
For adventure.
Yeah, but what we do is we try to minimize risks. And Tora Bora is in the conflict zone.
It's in the conflict zone?
We don't go anywhere south and east of Kabul, which is where the conflict is happening.
What's happening there that you can't go there?
There's a high risk of Taliban activity, or even coalition activity against some targets out there, and so we just don't want to be in the middle of that. Are you kidding, right?
No. You would advise us not to go there?
I would say, yeah, it's not a good idea.
Okay. Yeah. Why is that?
You may not make it back.
I guess I'm just going to have to find another way to get there. These magic trucks are massive, colorful, painted machines driven by crazy drivers who wind in and out of the epic landscape at high speed, back and forth from Pakistan to Kabul, braving the deadly roads against Taliban attacks and Afghan driving, some of the craziest in the world. Jalalabad was once the stronghold of Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda. When the Americans bombed Afghanistan in 2001, Osama and his Al-Qaeda fighters fled from Jalalabad to the mountains of Tora Bora. And if I want to follow in his footsteps, then I need to find someone who can get me there. I've been given the number of an Afghan fixer, and he agrees to meet up with me to discuss whether it's possible to even get to Tora Bora.
Okay, then I'll see you there.
But before that happens, I've heard that Jalalabad is home to some of the country's top para-athletes, and so I've arranged to meet up with one of them to find out more, a man named Muhammad Shah. Now, I'll be honest, I've always wondered how hard it would be to race one of these guys. So when Muhammad Shah turns up later that afternoon, I lay down a challenge. One that he seems happy to accept. Shah lost both his legs during the Soviet War when a rocket attack hit the civilian bus he was traveling in.
Gam kardan.
In future years, he would rise above his disability through sport.
ما در مسابقات المپیک اشتراک کردیم چندین مسابقه پیش بردیم و موفق شدیم اول شدیم در تمام مسابقاتی که مربوط به معیبین بوده.
So you're training here? That's what you're doing?
بله هر روز من ترینینگ میکنم تمرین میکنم همیشه هر وقت هر زمان در می طبقه هستم که باید ترینینگ کنم باید دیگام از این بیشتر و بیشتر شوم و بتونم که در تمام مسابقات مقام اول بگیرم.
After 30 years of war, there are more than 800,000 amputees in Afghanistan. Numbers like that can sometimes feel like cold statistics until you meet someone like Muhammad Shah. Not just a living example of the effects of the war, but a reminder that the human spirit can overcome anything.
ما تصمیم گرفتیم کوشش کردیم و تلاش کردیم که از اینکه ما تشویش داشته باشیم فکر کنیم رنج ببریم این خوب است که ما بتوانیم که یک زندگی خوشه یک زندگی آرام داشته باشیم.
Most amputees in Afghanistan have a difficult time of it because there's no social security and very little state support. Muhammad Shah has to provide for his wife and 6 kids by selling mobile telephone cards.
ما تقریبا 6-7 مسابقه اشتراک کردیم برنده شدیم و بازم اندام پلان داریم که در هر مسابقه که باشم ما اشتراک میکنم ان شاء الله که برنده میشم.
After Muhammad Shah has gone, I finally get to have my meeting with the Afghan fixer who might be able to take me to Tora Bora. To protect his identity, I've had to pixelate his face.
I've heard that it's the most dangerous area in Nangarhar.
Yeah, definitely. This is the most dangerous place in Nangarhar province. You know, people have been kidnapped and killed by the Taliban and the Al-Qaeda people. You know, and it's a pretty dangerous place to go over there. The decision is up to you guys. What do you think? You guys gonna go?
Okay, then we're gonna do it.
Do it. Okay, cool.
But with the best intention in the world, we still need serious security to get us there. And there are really only a couple of people who can realistically provide that security to a foreigner. Either the military or the man now stopping traffic outside my hotel. Governor Gulagar Sherzai. Unbeknown to me, this is all part of my fixer's plan and the reason he arrived late. The governor is technically here to inspect the hotel, which is government-owned, but according to my fixer, he's really here to meet me, to see if I'm the kind of person he wants to help to get to Tora Bora. We exchange pleasantries, and then he makes a surprising offer.
It's a date, a first date, and I'm a little nervous, but for another reason. The governor has a serious reputation for ruthlessness. If we're lucky enough to get his support, will he be on our side? And more importantly, what does he want from us? That night at the governor's, we get a personal tour of the gardens and the palace.
What is this area here?
This is the man palace which we are.
This place was built by the king who liberated Afghanistan from British rule. The palace was used as a summer house and meeting place by successive rulers, and as a stronghold for President Karzai's cabinet when it first met as a government.
This is the provincial cabinet they sit here, or
The first cabinet meeting which was arranged, all the ministers and plus President Karzai, they arranged a meeting here just 1 month before.
The walls in this cabinet room are 6 meters thick to protect against attempted rocket attacks.
This is the founder of Afghanistan, Ahmad Shah Abdali. You may heard his name.
yeah.
The whole place is filled with history, and the assistant governor explains that Governor Sherzai rebuilt the palace after it was practically destroyed by the Taliban. Being so close to so much history and power is a bit surreal to me, when only this morning we were nobodies in Jalalabad. The feeling is only heightened when the assistant governor takes this call.
President Karzai is calling governor.
The president of Afghanistan, Hamid Karzai, is on the phone.
Sure, I can take the call if you want.
Yeah, of course. I will just go. The governor
Fine.
wants to
Okay,
talk.
no problem.
Okay, thank
I'll
you.
see you
We'll
soon.
see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay. President Karzai is calling. Hello.
We are about to dine with one of the most powerful men in the country, and I'm very nervous. Governor Sherzai also asked us to bring along Mohammed Shah, the Paralympian I had raced with earlier. As first dates go, this has a lot riding on it. Governor Sherzai is the difference between us getting to Tora Bora or not getting to Tora Bora. I don't want to say anything that will antagonize him. He has to like me or we don't go on a second date. We also don't know who else is in the room, so for security's sake, I can't even mention the words Tora Bora. I stick to the safest subject possible, cricket.
Favorite player? Favorite player?
وڅوک د ډیر خوشیږي عزیزان
خوشیږي من ټوله خوشیږي دا دغه چې دي شنوارن چې وو محبت په تقبله یې
He's saying that it show my love, and show my aggression.
For me.
And you should accept that, it's Afghan, rules. And
Can I give him some back?
وایزه کولای شم چې حاجی صاحب زم درته درته درته
This shows my love for you. No problem.
It's intoxicating to be around such power, but I have to constantly remind myself that he's watching me, judging me, grading my behavior, trying to justify why he should put the lives of his security men at risk for me.
So I saw President Karzai called through earlier on today on the phone, tonight on the phone. How is President Karzai?
شو تیارو د زوی سره بازی کوي د میرویس سره دغه نارې وي
We bonded over jokes.
Ek bache hast? Two. Two?
And then gifts. My fixer tells me I'm blessed because the sandals are antique, expensive, unusual, and the governor never gives them away.
ساده چهره او ستوره افغانان ساده چهره سوي سترګې دي سوي دي رنګ پوست سوي دي افغانان
The date is going well, and it's about to get better. The governor has his own band of musicians, and tonight they're playing for my enjoyment. I feel completely unworthy, but what music! I'm told that it's traditional for an important man to honor his guests by composing a song for him. It goes back to the very early beginnings of Afghan music, when kings had their court to entertain and the musicians to do it. But I'm completely bowled over by what happens next.
I miss you when I try to read. I miss you when I try to speak. I miss you. Safurja, 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 safurja.
It's all a bit much for me. I've never been serenaded before. As dates go, I thought it had been successful, but I still don't have an answer from the governor about security. My fixer, though, doesn't seem worried. He says he knows the governor really likes me and will come around. Why is he so sure? The next day, I get a clue. This has never happened to me before in Afghanistan. Who do they think I am?
Jim Carrey?
It turns out that my fixer has been spreading the rumor around town that I am Hollywood superstar Jim Carrey. A couple of days later, we're still waiting for a call from the governor.
Where are we now?
We are entering the Osama bin Laden's families compounds.
The compounds of Osama bin Laden's family.
Yeah.
The former house of Osama bin Laden is 20 minutes from the city centre in a place called Jalalabad. The compounds, made completely out of mud brick, were known as families because they housed the wives and children of Al-Qaeda fighters. Osama moved his family out there from the city after 2 assassination attempts on his life. I'm nervous and excited. I mean, how often do you get to be so close to the world's most wanted man? I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe this. Instead, what I get is this.
This is the house?
Yeah, this is the house.
So this is it, huh?
Yeah, this is his house. This was the man door.
It's completely destroyed. Only the foundations remain. And yet they sprawl for nearly 2 blocks and contain a maze of corridors and rooms.
And you can see, there is maybe 50 or 56 rooms.
There's a lot of rooms.
Yeah.
My fixer explains that these rooms are small homes within a home, belonging to Osama's family or close followers.
His friends was all around him in here, and most of the people, they were from Chechnya, from Bosnia, from from Tajikistan, Uzbekistan.
This was his mosque here?
Yeah, this was the mosque, You see the temple?
Oh, the temple, yeah, okay.
Yeah, this was his mosque.
So he would have done his praying here?
Praying here.
This is Osama's bedroom.
Because, of course, Osama bin Laden was a bit of a bedroom enthusiast, right?
Yeah.
He had 4 wives and more than 20 kids.
20 kids.
Given how he's presented in the Western media as an international bogeyman, it's strange for me to stand here in Osama bin Laden's bedroom and think of him as domesticated. The compound has been ransacked and stripped bare, and it's clearly been used as an open toilet by the neighbors. Most of the smaller rooms are buzzing with flies, feeding on human excrement. The smell is putrid. Is this symbolic of what Afghans think of Osama?
What did people tell you that they thought about bin Laden?
Most of the people that they don't know about the education, they don't know about about their role, their religion. They only like him because of he's a Muslim. But the people that have education and they know about everything, they are saying he's a bad guy.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous, you know what I mean? Because right now you are in Osama bin Laden's house, and there is still some of the people that are living here. They are doing an operation from here against
Al-Qaeda.
yeah.
The guards want to get out of here as quickly as possible.
Listen,
I feel sadness as I look back over the mud shell. Wherever he goes, Osama bin Laden leaves nothing but ruins.
there is a garbage dump right at where the front door would have been, which is, I don't know, apt or not, I'm not sure. But there it is. Goodbye, Osama.
It makes me wonder about the future. Will this house be opened up as some sort of tourist destination? Or will it be destroyed? Will the Taliban come back with their Al-Qaeda mates and turn it into a shrine? I guess it depends on what future awaits Afghanistan. I know which future I'm voting for. The next morning, I finally get the call I've been waiting for from Governor Sherzai. He's going to give us security all the way to Tora Bora. I'm finally going to follow in the footsteps of Osama bin Laden.
When American bombs started hitting Afghanistan, Osama bin Laden was apparently here in Jalalabad, the capital of Nangarhar, a kind of a hometown for him in Afghanistan, and only a short drive from Tora Bora.
But before he could go to the mountains for protection, there were certain safeguards he had to put in place. So he came here.
And so only a couple of days before the fall of Kabul, the capital, and with the streets of Jalalabad being pounded by American bombs, Osama calls a meeting of tribal leaders from the area here. This is the former Islamic Studies Center. And after a fiery speech against the Americans, he starts handing out envelopes of cash to the tribal leaders, because these are the people, if he has to escape later on, who will be helping him. And so while Osama has been telling his own men that they're going to fight to the death, he's now preparing himself for the future. The day after the meeting with the tribal leaders, Osama is seen at a couple of places around Jalalabad at night. Now, he's surrounded by 60 bodyguards, and he's cradling his little Kalashnikov. Not long after this, he jumps into his white Toyota Corolla, which is part of a convoy of several hundred cars filled with Al-Qaeda and Taliban fighters, and they head for the hills.
Amazingly, we are on our way to Tora Bora. These 9 men ahead of us are the personal security detail of the governor himself. The best protection you can get in the province, if not the country. In Afghanistan, strength is all important, and the governor wants to prove a point about his strength, that he can send a foreigner all the way to Osama's former playground safely. There is only one road to Tora Bora, so if the Taliban know we're coming, from this moment on, we're prime targets for a roadside bomb or kidnapping. We reach the base of Tora Bora.
This is where more than 1,500 Arab and Chechen fighters started their trek up the hillside for the last battle of Tora Bora. As soon as they got there, the American bombing started going full throttle. Despite the fact of all its casualties and falling morale, Al-Qaeda clung on. So now we're going to start climbing.
The danger levels are now about to go even higher. In the distance are the militants. Up above are possible ambush points. why I basically need my own private army for protection.
So, the US forces didn't send in troops. They just bombed. They actually recruited local warlords, and those guys got their own men together. There were about 2,500 of them coming in from the bottom here, all over these particular areas, and going up. So Al-Qaeda were on the top, and the local men going up from the bottom, while the Americans pounded from on top.
Finally, we arrive at the place where the Battle of Tora Bora was played out. I'm warned that we can't stay long because the militants are just around the corner.
I never imagined that it would be this small in this kind of area.
The reason why he chose this place, you see the position of this place here, all covered by the big mountains. And this whole area that he put the checkpoints over there, his bases.
The famous caves of Tora Bora are dotted all around the hillsides.
According to the Western media, the caves of Tora Bora were a modern-day architectural miracle. Take a look.
It was allegedly made up of a massive underground structure that included a hydroelectric power plant, a 2,000-room hotel, offices, communal rooms, armories including Stinger missiles, and an ant farm. As far as hotels go, they only left out a gym, a jacuzzi, and a beauty parlor.
But the reality is this. There's no hydroelectric power. There's no 2,000-room hotel. There's no ant farm, as far as I can see. There's just caves. There was an American-led exploration of about 180 to 200 caves around Tora Bora about 7 weeks after the bombing finished. And what they discovered was that of all of them, the deepest that there was about 60 feet. So this huge complex that Osama bin Laden and the people around here had supposedly built up was a myth.
He
said it was dangerous?
Yes.
These caves were actually built around 30 years ago, during the time of the Russian War.
So Osama bin Laden got the villagers to build them to fight against the Russians.
Yeah, he was in jihad, he was in this place.
So this withstood all the bombing? This kind of rock up here. About 10 days, 2 weeks after they all arrived here and the bombing had started and been going on for a while, Osama finally paid a visit to his men. He came into the caves, sat down and had a bit of a green tea with them all, reminded them that they were fighting a holy war, a jihad, and that they should hold their positions, stay firm, and that they should prepare for martyrdom. And then with that, and probably a bit of a sip of his tea, he disappeared for the last time. And so sometime in the next 4 days, according to locals, the world's most wanted man escaped the world's most powerful military, and with 4 of his most loyal men, he headed in that direction, towards Pakistan.
We're heading up to the house that Osama stayed in whenever he was at Tora Bora.
Oh, this was Osama bin Laden's here?
Yeah, that whole area that was a house, he hit by bomb.
And so this bomb took it out here, this huge crater. Took out Osama's house.
The original central base is this one, you know.
Right here.
It's called the militant base, you know.
And that's where most of the other Al-Qaeda fighters, hundreds of them, disappeared to over the next few weeks. And they paid off the villages here and on the border of Pakistan to help them through. And when the local forces came up here, by that stage there had been deals and double deals and botched ceasefires and all sorts of problems. And all they found in the caves were the last dregs of Al-Qaeda fighters. The rest had followed bin Laden into Pakistan.
In the end, Tora Bora will always be remembered as the place Osama got away. But that's the past, and right now I'm interested in the future. I've seen what Osama did for this country, and it amounts to little more than rubble. But what of the future of Afghanistan? Where is this country heading? In order to answer that question, I need to fulfill the second part of my mission. Going out to the front line with the American military. Traveling by helicopter to stay with the American military in a province called Logar, doing what journalists call an embed. I want to get in behind the politics and meet the soldiers on the front line in this war on terror. The Americans have been in Afghanistan since 2001, originally chasing Osama and Al-Qaeda, but now in a long drawn-out battle with the Taliban. We arrive at our final destination, or FOB as they call it, Forward Operating Base. I'm introduced to the staff sergeant, and he doesn't want to have anything to do with me. Over the next few days, it's the same story.
Hey, Sergeant, what's a good time for them to hook up with you? I mean, as soon as I get some time, I'll find this.
Staff Sergeant Cranky.
Basically, no one gives a shit about some no-name journalists, and why should they? They've seen them come and go. But I do meet some of the people who keep the place going. There's Ronnie, the FOB mayor. Ronnie gives me the rundown of what goes on out of FOB.
This is where you keep an eye on the Taliban and any intel that you can get, and go out and do missions and, help protect the area around here.
There's Nancy, the cook.
That's good. I always cook. Love to cook. Love it. It's just something I do. I do it blindfold. My job is here is to feed and protect my country. That's what my job is.
I spend my first night in one of the watchtowers with one of the FOB's rotating guards, Morales, who's kind enough to share his cigars with me as he keeps watch.
We just trying to get the local nationals here to stop living under fear from the other people being the Taliban.
What is the Taliban to you?
Taliban to me, some smart people. Honestly, they're real smart. Their hiding spots, the movements that they make, it's real quick.
But from the guys who go out each night, nothing. We have only one day before we chop it out again, and I'm starting to get worried. I play hacky sack with the cooks. Teach them Australian rules. Badly.
Sometimes you can kick too far. I don't actually play this game in my state.
And they teach me American football. ironic, really. I come all the way out to see the American military in action,
Exactly.
and I'm the one that gets injured.
It's okay.
I'm interested in finding out the Americans' feelings about Afghans. Not just the ones they work with, but the Afghans they have contact with out in the community.
In fact, when we go into the towns and we ask people the questions, where's the Taliban, what happened, they don't. Oh, we don't know.
When we went through those bazaars, and they were just looking at us like, the fuck y'all doing here?
Really?
Well, they allowed the people to come into the house to try to attack us.
The only reason why I respect these people is I know if someone came to my hometown and was doing peacekeeping operations and we didn't want them there, we do the same exact thing that the Taliban be doing.
What do you spend most of your time thinking about?
Going home.
Just being home.
I'm a party like a rock star.
When we get back, I'll be in the army
I'm going to
1 month
clubs.
more than I'm supposed to be.
I'm gonna have fun.
How do you deal with like 12, 15 months of no sex?
Actually.
Each day has a similar rhythm. Everything is a build-up to the mission that night. All the guys who've been on a mission the night before sleep in, but otherwise it's quiet. Nothing much happens. Then, towards the afternoon, people start to appear. The coming night mission is planned.
We go out there trying to make sure they know we're around and deny them the ability to do whatever they want. They have to be a little bit more leery because they know we're out there. It's not so much going out looking for a fight. If it comes, we're ready for it, but we don't go out looking for it.
The men prep themselves, their guns, and machinery. And then, they're off. And we are not with them. I feel like crap. Trapped out in the middle of nowhere and trapped in here. For the first time on this whole trip, I want to pack up and go home. And it's not about seeing some action and getting it on tape. That's not what I came for. What I've come for is to, in some small way, put a human face to the soldiers in this war on terror. And then, after days of waiting, I finally get the chance to go out on mission. I'll be under the care of Sergeant Summerall, a 21-year-old from the American South.
How are you? Sabur. Sergeant who, sorry?
Summerall?
Summerall.
You can just call me William.
They have the team meeting for the mission.
Hey, tonight we move as fast as humanly possible up there.
Nothing changed in terms of our action on contact. We all know what to do. We've been doing this for a couple of months now.
It turns out we're going on an all-night patrol to a local government building that's faced nightly rocket attacks from the Taliban. Even going down this road is dangerous because it's a magnet for deadly roadside bombs. The words from one of the guys was, "They know we're coming, we know they're there." Night after night, the same thing. And then, up ahead, it happens.
Shit, man. Not about 50 meters in front of us.
There's a loud bang, and the Humvee ahead of us suddenly jumps. The word is it might be a roadside bomb. Thankfully, it was only a tire blowout. While Summerall jumps straight into the action to fix the tire, one of the Afghan interpreters is still getting over the shock of what just happened.
It jerked a little bit. I was still scared, man. I got hit once, and I don't want to get again. I don't want to get again by the ID. It's no fun.
The tyre's going to take a little while to replace, so it gives me a chance to meet some of the squad, like Monahan, a guy who's planning to one day be President of the United States.
Monahan, this is your chance to make your political debut.
I know, I was thinking that already. Just, use this in my campaign footage in about 20 years.
That's right. So, I wish I had a better haircut, though. So how do you deal with it the first time when you're in action, when you just come out of the States? How do you deal with it the first time?
You just talk to people, ask questions before and after, because something's going to happen. One of the worst parts isn't really, it is getting shot at, but getting shot at and not being able to go back to some place where you've got your family, your really close friends, or beer.
We arrive at the district government building that has been under attack from the Taliban and immediately set up defensive positions.
Ask them where everybody's at. They said they got 5 time positions. Bunker, or is it just
Yeah.
Where are the British at? They're here.
The British guys are over there.
They're over there. I got a vehicle right there that we can hit the ridge with. Ask them if he's got you guys on the mountain. I need to know.
Yeah,
Okay. So, where is he getting most of the attacks from? What time of the night does it normally happen? Changes every night?
Yeah. Did we pass the time?
It's 10:30, so anytime.
The Americans have sent in 2 planes on flyovers to let the Taliban know who's in town and who's in charge.
We have our own fob we got to defend sometimes, so.
I meet some of the Afghan soldiers stationed out in the darkness, and they seem quite happy.
You can do 11 to 12:30. You do 12:30 to 1. Or I'm sorry, to 2, and I'll do 2 to wake up. Anybody got any questions?
Will you make me a pancake breakfast when we get back?
Monahan, I need you to be serious right now.
Right.
All right.
And the talk does get serious, turning once more to the relationship they have with Afghans.
We help these people a lot, so it just surprises me when actual Afghans do attack us, not people from other countries. It just really surprises me because, I'm over here, just trying to help them. I don't want to do anything bad. I don't want anything done to me. So it just really surprises me that a country we'd be over here trying to help would attack us when they know we're here to help them.
I really don't know how I'd feel either, though. If
somebody was in America,
and decided to
I know exactly
help
how
us
I
out,
feel.
and roam in our streets and all such, I'd be like, get out of here.
Yep.
Help myself.
I can't lie, I'd be the same way.
I admire the fact that these guys, who are trained to see most things in terms of black and white, are able to put themselves in Afghan shoes and see shades of grey.
I know I've heard stories of guys that don't have any problem with coalition force, but the Taliban will come in and say, look, we'll give you $100 to shoot this RPG at coalition forces, or we'll kill your family. I'd take the $100. It's just, some of the friendliest people I've ever met, some of the givingest people I've ever met. They'll give you anything they have, and they don't expect anything in return. You go down there and they only have, what little food they do have, and they'll let you eat it rather than eat it themselves. They'll invite you into their home if you want to search it, instead of having to kick doors and, hold on, I got keys for everything. I'll open it all for you. They're very friendly, usually as you're going through their house, they'll offer you, tea or bread.
Suddenly, there's a reminder about the immediate threat we're facing.
Call any one element and ask them if they're hearing audible explosions. If it does get close, just jump in the truck. I'll be right back.
This time, it's a false alarm. At some point, early in the morning, I fall asleep. They do not. The first light of morning gives us a chilling reminder of why we are here on this mission.
They're gone. Definitely. If there was anybody sitting there.
This damage was all caused by Taliban rocket attacks over the last few nights. I can barely keep my eyes open. The mission is over. It seems like a success, but it's hard to tell. There was an impressive show of force by the Americans, and the Taliban decided to stay away. But will that make a difference tonight when the Americans have gone somewhere else? It's hard to tell. Just like it's hard to predict what will happen when all the foreign troops eventually pull out of Afghanistan. But for now, in the present, there remains this continuous back and forth. Strength in numbers on one side versus cunning and local knowledge on the other. Both sides are present, but can anyone actually win? Soon after, I get choppered out of Logar. After trailing both Osama and the US military, I still don't know exactly where Afghanistan is headed. But what I do know after all my travels in this place is that the heart and soul of the country are its people, and the future lies in their hands.